the end, Squid Game, the challenge came down to an intense game of rock, paper, scissors, which player 451/Phill thought was just a game of chance. But when his opponent, player 287/World11, kept kicking his butt over and over again, he began to suspect he was missing something. And due to her strategic understanding of how to win at rock, paper, scissors, she ultimately beat him and won the $4.56 million. But Phill didn't leave Netflix's Squid Game reality spin-off empty-handed. His experience throughout filming taught him a lot about humanity as a whole, as well as what he's capable of. It was a beautiful representation of what human nature really is in the face of adversity, because even though the game was literally pitting us against each other, it never felt like that. Phill tells EW. It never felt like it was me against them. It always felt like us versus the game. It was an honor to be a part of that, and I'm pretty proud of myself for playing with integrity and never having to compromise on my values. He's also excited to see what the future holds for him, even though he didn't become a multimillionaire after coming so close to winning. It showed me what is important and worth fighting for, and that I don't need millions of dollars in order to pursue my passions, Phill says. I love music, and I actually got my college band back together after I got out. We're called 6 Ways to Saturday, and we're putting out a new single today. Below, Phill breaks down why the last game was the silliest, what fans didn't see in the episodes, why players were so hard on Mai but not Ashley after Glass Bridge, how he dominated Circle of Trust, and so much more. Phill: it was tough because I knew that one of us had to. But at the same time, I was pretty scared, and I didn't want to. We had come so close, and to risk getting eliminated over nothing was way too daunting of a thing in my brain. That's why I asked, does anybody want to go? Does anybody feel like they want to take the first step? If not, then maybe we can talk about it and figure out who it's going to be. Mai said, yes, and I was like, all right, you do you. Honestly, I didn't really see any advantage for me to press the button, because I knew that if Mai or Sam had the ability to bring somebody with them to the final game, I was relatively confident that they would choose me. I really had no business going up there to risk getting eliminated. When Mai gets neutral, I'm like, oh man, now I extra don't want to push one because it's literally a 50-50 chance, like Glass Bridge all over again. Sam really took the lead and was very courageous for that. And I do commend him because in that moment, I did feel like a coward. It sucks to see him go, but at the same time, it had to be one of us. That was definitely tough to reckon with. You say you felt like a coward, but you made the smartest decision for yourself, because like you said, you were basically guaranteed to move on if you didn't push a button no matter what happened with Mai and Sam. Yeah, it might have been the smart way to play, but between the three of us, nobody deserves the money more than anyone else in that room. So in my heart, I'm like, why should I be the one to get to go? Why shouldn't I throw my hat in the ring? That's what was going through my head, and I'm literally going through a whole ethical dilemma in my brain as that was happening. What was your reaction when you saw Sam push the red button and get eliminated? It was tragic. We'd become basically besties at this point, so it was really tough to see him go and over something that I could have done something about. It could have been me, and maybe it should have. I don't know. But at the same time, going into the final 3, it was really comforting to know that no matter who won, they were going to do good by the money. What was it like for you in the dorm that night after Sam's elimination? My head was spinning. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would get this far. I was going into it thinking that I would probably get out in red light, green light. So to have made it so far was absolutely crazy. At this point, I'm like, oh my God, it really is now a game of chance. It's 50-50 whether it's going to be me or her. That was an insane amount of pressure to deal with, but it was almost comforting to know that it was almost over. No matter what happens now, I get to go home to my bed, and I get to finally eat some good food. So that was reassuring and helped to ground me a little bit.